Namaste.
Welcome to the December Suchitra TV Bulletin. This is Sarvaswa.
And this is Lakshit. We are thrilled to be your hosts.
Let us take a look at the events that made it to the headlines. Leaders in bloom. Senior Secondary Student Council elections and investiture fusion.
The Cambridge candidates gear up for Student Council elections alongside prestigious investiture ceremony.
Growing up great. Puberty workshop on 7th December.
Igniting potential. Students dive into leadership training bliss.
Elections for the Student Council of 2024 to 25 were held in the school following a fair democratic process. On 4th December, the voting process of the Student Council was just like the real one, completed with polling booths and finger ink. Really, all the stops were pulled out to provide the students with a lifelike experience of elections. Results of the elections came out in the afternoon with a hairline competition.
And the head boy is Shaman.
Heartiest congratulations to all the new members of the Student Council.
Investiture means the action of formally investing a person with an official rank, authority and power. At the school level, it signifies the responsibility and reliance that the school invests in the newly elected Student Council. The school's annual investiture ceremony was held on the 7th of December, instating the office bearers of 2024 to 25 till August 2024. The guests of honor of the show were Mr. and Mrs. Purushottam, parents of Shamant, the head boy, and Miss Dhingra, the proud mother of Palak Dhingra, the head girl.
Suchitra Academy's Cambridge wing too had a splendid event on December 15th. It was when they chose new student leaders after a careful process. These students had to set goals, make logos and contest in the face of stiff, albeit healthy competition to earn their roles.
We Suchitrans wish Anish Menon all the very best to our Cambridge school captain who attained office on the 11th of December.
Heartiest congratulations to all the new members of the new Junior Student Council of Cambridge. They are starting their job as leaders now and they had their first ever investiture ceremony on 15th December. The chief guest of the show was retired wing commander Zubair Sheikh.
Our school just hosted a puberty education workshop for girls in grades 5 to 9. It was organized by Right Side Story and sponsored by Whisper PNG India on December 7th, 2023. The workshop was super cool because it helped us understand all about growing up and taking care of ourselves.
They talked about self-awareness, hygiene, self-love and body awareness. The workshop gave us a special space just for us to ask questions and learn without any inhibitions. We also learned to approach trusted adults when we need help. Above all, this workshop taught us about setting boundaries.
Suchitra Academy was indeed privileged to host impressive educators who shared their expertise in the field of education. Ms. Madhu Sharma from Gyan Global Consultancy and Mr. Lavlesh Bhanot, Chairman Trustee at the Integral School. Ms. Madhu Sharma from Gyan Global Consultancy has over 15 years of experience setting up schools, evaluating them and training staff worldwide.
This interview, skillfully conducted by Lochna ma'am, brought forth a rich tapestry of innovative academic approaches from these renowned educators, offering invaluable insights for Suchitra Academy's ongoing academic enrichment.
Now, let's take a look at the interview.
Namaste, ma'am, sir, and all the viewers of this talk show. It is my privilege to have the two eminent personalities who have contributed both in diversity and intensity in the field of education. Welcome, ma'am and sir.
Ma'am, you have travelled around the world and have helped in setting up of schools in different cultural contexts. With that in mind, what do you think are some qualitative parameters that every school should achieve despite the cultural diversity and variety that it is set up in?
We generally I focus on the child in the class. Any amount of there are well-equipped schools, there is a great infrastructure, there are many amenities, but what is the school doing to improve the confidence of the child and in providing holistic education? That is the crux of the matter. An essential part of a good school or a very good school, or we even have outstanding schools when we are auditing schools or when we are giving them rating, is how the child in the classroom is confident with the 21st century skills, how he is able to achieve, and he is an independent learner. That is the crucial thing for us. Okay?
So lovely, your approach is completely student-centric.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Coming to you, sir, and based out of my utmost curiosity, what has been the motivational drive to bring the philosophy of integral school to life?
All right, so the integral school is essentially came into existence because a lot of parents and mainstream teachers who were fed up with the mainstream orientation and the stress that is inherent in the system, to come up with something which provides an alternate to those parents who would not like their children to go through a very stressful grind. So they started looking for what are the possible, technically speaking, became a critique of the mainstream schooling, the critique of going through the same grind in school, appearing for a test, getting graded, and career orientation right at the young age, and so on and so forth. So the handful of people, including mainstream teachers and the parents, said we are going to do something about it, and we are going to walk the talk, which is when the integral school came into its, the dream was realized when the school was formed. And the integral school follows Sri Aurobindo's integral education and Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga. So it's premised on a philosophy. It's not just an alternate school. It is an alternate school, but much more than that. So the impetus was the need to come for something different than the mainstream life that people live.
Well, that's as good as creating an alternate world, in the field of education.
in a way.
which also will be leading to a new world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, we have seen your journey, we've read about your journey, and it has transformed from teaching young minds to teaching, the people who train the young minds. So, what has been your approach, in teaching the two sets of students?
Two sets of students. Okay, you mean learners as well as teachers?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very important that the teachers change their pedagogical skills, because unless they are aware of how to do it, they won't be able to make an impact in the life of learners, So it's very important because many of the schools we visit, their teaching technologies are very outdated. They are based on traditional rote and learn, and then that doesn't give the students the opportunities to think independently, to work collaboratively. We don't know what they are. They have to be ready for 20 years from now, 10 years from now. Can they do that with these skills which they have now? So for that we need to prepare them. So that can only come from being independent learners and having independent thinking skills.
Wow. So you have had that approach for the students as well as the teachers?
No, when the teachers in their questioning, they lead students to answer.
Right.
How they teach, there is rather than having passive learning, active learning, how they go about having collaboration in lessons, how they let the students take responsibility of their learning, and they communicate what they are saying, how they work in groups. So as we say, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, questions for and against, creativity, all that comes in every lesson plan. It is not something which you only dwell on after the class, or you have some art competition, or you have a debate competition and you say give two topics for and against. It is happening all the time, outside, inside. The curriculum is so well integrated that every aspect tries to build those skills.
Wow, that's good. I think that's a way towards holistic education.
Yes, true.
For the teachers and for the learners as well. Lovely. Sir, coming to you, what do you think is a source of learning, that has been untapped, but, if it's recognized, would have a lot of potential?
Source of learning, would you delve a bit more on it?
Say, for example, at one point of time, visual learning was not practiced. And over a period of time now, learners are referring to documentaries, learners are referring to comic books, learners are referring to the the media sources that are regulating on social media platforms. There are researches on memes in order to talk about pop culture. So is there any source that you think is unrecognized for now, but would have good potential if it's tapped?
All right, let's see if I've understood your question. So what you just mentioned, all these sources are good tools to access. They do not technically themselves become a source. They're just a means to go till the end. But the one source that has not been touched for a very long time is one's psychic being, we call in integral education, that aspect of your personality which is not conditioned. And that's the source of your true intuition, your creativity, because it keeps all conditioning away, it keeps all corporate capitalist narratives away. That is something very pure. The whole idea is to become more conscious and more aware of that source within. Now, in order to do that, we develop the faculties of the mind, for example, the ability to concentrate, the ability to pay attention, the ability to imagine. Now, imagination is not copy pasting from the sources. Imagination is something which is novel, which pops up in a mind which has quietened itself. So, the source of all source is your true being, not your conditioned personality, not even your heredity. So So all our effort is to keep the child away from parental, societal, hereditary, environmental conditions at par, so that the child can blossom and keep sourcing from that which wants to express itself outside. Having said that, whatever pedagogies are available outside, I would take the examples that we've given as pedagogies, can be used and is used. But integral education is not about pedagogy alone. It takes in its sweep all the pedagogies that are available, but transitions to epistemology, which means learning how to learn. That is something which is missing. So our effort is on that, to learn how to learn. How do I learn? How do I assimilate the information that is outside? See, it makes all the more difference. If you eat a lot of food, you get indigestion. Yeah. If you are exposed to a lot of information out there, videos and blah blah blah, then it also leads to intellectual indigestion, and you end up, see, there's a dichotomy here. The more you know, the less wise you are. Mm-hmm. So the less you know, the more wise you become, because you're not conditioned.
Yeah. Meticulously put, and yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what advice would you give, since you are so experienced and you've met also a lot of people, trained them as well? For all the viewers who have not met you, what advice would you give to people who want to enter in the field of education as well as education leadership?
People who want to enter education must have a passion for imparting education. What is their motive? And they must be lifelong learners. Whether it is, that is the key. They must be, the goalpost in education keeps on going further and further. You have to constantly build your skills. You cannot you can't have complacency that I've done it all, I've achieved all, and this is all. So that is very important. When students are lifelong learners, the teachers also have to constantly build their skills, and they must be willing to, while they must have passion for teaching, they must have that thing, how they will go about, how can they make it innovative, how can they give enough space for students to develop their own individuality, their independent thinking skills, so that they carve a niche for themselves in their own way. And one thing is very, very important through all this thing is that sometimes parents are after students, teachers are after them. In all this, the love for learning goes away, in the children. They find it a very tried, mundane affair, test after test, and that should not set in. Because once that sets in, then there'll be no, real learning. There'll be no creativity. There'll be no innovation. As Mr. Lokesh just mentioned, just mentioned that learning to learn new ways of how to find ways of learning, that is also important. And constantly being learners, that's important.
Wow, I think, yes, I completely agree with you that wanting to learn and, never deciding that, you have achieved so much and there's nothing more beyond that. I think that leads to the end. And, as I'm sure, everybody who has read well has understood that how education only makes one humble. It's a very humbling process. So I think, true. Yeah, you've rightly put it well in words. Thank you, ma'am. So, sir, you spoke of intuition in the previous answer. How important do you think, or rather, what are the important factors do you think, are necessary for parents to provide in order to strengthen, their children's intuitive power?
Oh, okay. So we've touched upon intuition, which is inherent in us but not very commonly available faculty of the mind. To reach there, one need to spend a lot of time within oneself. In fact, on the contrary, I don't know whether the masses would like this or not, but to first stop this repetition of I'm a parent and I have a child, etc. You have to go within yourself, and going within yourself means you have to take out all that you have stored within yourself, to accommodate for me to go within myself, because there's a whole lot of world inside that we have, a whole lot of biases. There are more than 100 biases that are available for us to sort of get stuck to. So this process would require to disengage with the whole role playing that goes on, similar thing that I mentioned in our thing, to keep stepping back and go within oneself and see how do I learn, how do I live my own life, what are my likes and dislikes, to become acutely aware of all the prabhavs that I have built over a period of time, ever since I was born. To strand by strand, slowly you take away all that has conditioned yourself. And as you do that, and as you become more quiet, which means less worryful, slowly your mind will open up to higher faculties which were buried under. See, parents are themselves a product of a mainstream schooling, right? So they have a set pattern to look through. They're helpless creatures. So the first thing is they need to take out their own lenses. As they do that, you will see that children are then not getting disturbed or interfere, right? Because you are going through, if I'm doing something, then I'm at the same time not disturbing you. Yeah, I'm doing my own stuff. Now when I'm doing my own stuff, you're doing your own stuff, there's a tremendous camaraderie in play, because I'm not policing you, I'm not judging you, as much as I'm going deep into my own self. So we need to summarize: step back, stop role playing, go deep within oneself, become quiet, become aware of all your tendencies and biases, and then see, you will build a culture of introspection at home, a culture where you become more self-aware and allow life to blossom by itself.
So what I have gathered is it's autonomy for oneself and for the other.
Yeah, precisely, you used a technical word which is apt. To become self-aware and autonomous human being. That requires a tremendous amount of freedom of and freedom from both.
Yes, lovely. It was great speaking to the both of you.
Thank you.
I'm sure the viewers have had, have gained a lot of insights. But personally, I think this has been a great chat with the two of you. And thank you once again for taking your time out, for being on this show. And yes, have a great day.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you for having
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
What an enriching interview, wasn't it?
Moving on, the recent leadership training at our school provided to be an enriching experience. Participants engaged in a caterpillar crawling activity, fostering coordination and communication skills. The challenge of constructing a bridge highlighted teamwork, planning and problem-solving abilities.
Balancing more than 10 nails on one nail required patience and precision, emphasizing the power of teamwork. Groups were randomly assigned, encouraging collaboration with unfamiliar peers. The training was not just a momentary event, but a catalyst for ongoing personal and collective growth. On the 2nd of December 2023, Suchitra Academy hosted its online international film festival Chitrakatha 2.0. This experimental cinema space was a compelling celebration of creativity and global collaboration. This event brought together Suchitrans of grade 11 and students from Sobeski High School, Poland, IIS Archimedi and Beltrame School, Italy. This cinematic extravaganza, themed around climate change, served as a dynamic platform for young filmmakers to express their concerns and insights through the art of storytelling.
The event wasn't just a showcase of films. It was a testament to the power of storytelling in fostering cross-cultural understanding and igniting dialogues on pressing global concerns. Through heartfelt acknowledgements and appreciative gestures, Chitrakatha 2.0 stood as a beacon of unity, a collaboration, and the transformative influence of cinema in inspiring change and meaningful conversations.
Our school isn't just about teaching. It's about cheering on the best and the brightest as they reach for the star in higher education. On December 9th, 2023, Suchitra Academy conducted a scholarship test for grade 11. It's like a big test to show off their brain power and academic greatness.
This test wasn't just about getting good grades. It was all about recognizing and celebrating how smart grade 11 stars are. And guess what? It's not just about the test. It's about opening doors to some serious help with money for their big dreams.
With this, we come to the end of this episode. Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year to all of you.
Namaste children. Merry Christmas to all of you. So Christmas is all about sharing and caring and giving to others. So remember to do that. Just like any other festival that we celebrate, whether it's Diwali or Dashera, we give to people, and that shows us a sense of gratitude. So see what you can do for people around you and make them happy, make them smile. Make your Christmas a special one. Thank you.
Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year to all the Suchitrans, from the pre-primary tiny tots to almost adult grade 12 children. Merry Christmas to the parents and to all the staff members. I wish you a lot of happiness. This is the season for giving gifts to others, but a small advice: gift yourself the happiness of life first before you give and spread to others. Thank you. Namaste.
We would like to thank Isha Rajput, Nandani Agarwal and Sahasra Verma from the editorial team, Vidat and Sri Lakshmi from the production team for bringing this bulletin to you.
Don't forget to subscribe and watch out for the next episode of Suchitra TV.
Namaste.